purity and ageless innocence in Neil Blender defines skateboarding itself in its authenticity. Welcome back to Real Skate Stories. I'm your host, TR. He is skateboarding's most intriguing, elusive, and eclectic figure. When Neil welcomed me into his home in 1989 while filming his Speed Freaks part, I was honored to capture perhaps the most candid footage of Neil in his element.
You've been a good guest.
And skating his personal backyard mini, a bizarre 3-foot tall ramp with a foot of vert and almost no transition. Neil had always been one to find and surpass skateboarding's preconceived boundaries, and in attempting to satiate his unbounding curiosity, push the sport into new realms and influencing the skateboarding world at large in the process.
Keep on trying to fit.
He emerged onto the scene a full decade earlier. Skate parks were still spread across Southern California, and a young Neil grew up witnessing the greats of the era competing in the Hester Series. As that morphed into the Gold Cup Series, Neil debuted with a new school group of rippers, including Lance Mountain, John Lucero, Alan Losi, Stevie Caballero, Christian Hosoi, Tony Hawk, and many more. This group brought an entire new book of technical tricks to the game, which would in fact be the maneuvers that would influence trick-based skating, freestyle, and street skating of the future. A lot of the guys coming up with the new tricks use tight trucks and straight up and down, back and forth runs. Neil, although inventing monumental tricks, was always paying homage to the greats of the previous era by mixing in high-speed carving and using every inch of the bowl.
$250. Let's go. It's party time.
How do you feel? You don't have one of these,
First
okay?
place.
Neil, why didn't you enter freestyle? You and Mike could have probably fought.
Now, Neil, I would have won freestyle. It's stupid. I don't even want to enter that.
You and him could have fought for that.
Check it out.
Hey, hold that down, man.
I was sitting there.
Channel 7. You can pick it up.
I was like fighting some kids out in front of my house earlier. they were down here. Ask me some questions. This is gay. I'm sure. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about your win.
Yeah, man, how'd you do it?
Did an ad work and I hit my face, I think.
How did it feel?
Like a plywood ramp, a little bit.
How was your hip?
Feels like Coke. No, Lance should have won. Oh, get Billy over here. Come here, Bill. Let's talk about this. Fun, like
Yeah. About I just ran. I couldn't stand up. I tried to palm and I just went into the wall.
So we really
you would have won, really. You would have lost. You would have lost, huh? If he would have done an Andre. That's what all the judges said.
Okay, Neil Blender, whenever you're ready. Seconds. 3, 2, 1, and that's time for Neil Blender and all the other skaters that have been skating here in the Pro Pool Eliminations.
As the skate park era was literally buried, the next chapter of skateboarding emerged, with street skating and backyard ramps becoming the focus. The necessity to be creative to set one apart on these extremely limiting mediums cannot be understated. Perhaps this is when Neil's true genius was most appreciated.
Radical. 15 seconds, Neil. That's time for Neil Blender.
Oh, this is probably the best ramp I've ever seen.
Okay, Neil.
And I'm sure with the exposure that a lot of kids will get in their backyards and create even better ramps.
There are 5 seconds at least. There he goes again.
Oh, and he makes it.
The crowd is loving it.
Extended hand plant, stalls it out as long as he can. Real hard to do. This guy's a wild man. Like I said, consistency is his problem, but when he pulls it off, he's great.
Boy, the showmanship pleases the crowd, and I'm sure the judges are taking note.
He's a real clown.
From Anaheim, 18 years of age. The biggest competitor out here today at 6 foot, 190 pounds. He lost it.
Neil, you look like you're out of breath. Tell us about that last run.
It was scary.
Listen, I saw that extended hand plant stall, and then it looked like you tried to jump back on the board when you were losing it. Tell me, is that what you were doing?
Yeah, the trick is called a Donner Party. You know how the Donner Party lost their guns in Trabuco Canyon? Back where I learned that in, I don't know, I think 5th grade. And it's like that because it's like deadly because you jump on and you don't know, and it's like uncontrollable.
Unbelievable. You came back and then tried it again and actually made it. Are you going to do that again in the second round if you make it to the second round?
It's all spontaneous. Who knows?
Spontaneous. Tell me, who do you think your toughest competition is going to be here today?
Well, who says that I'm a good competitor? I mean, if I make it past anywhere, I think Stevie will be the best guy here. If not him, it might be Mickey Alba.
And what are you going to do with your $400 if you win it, big guy?
Spend it on a car lot.
Okay, thanks a lot, Neil. That was Neil Blender.
Here comes big Neil Blender.
Okay, extended, holds it.
Extender.
That's his Donner Party. Going into...
6 foot, 190 pounder. Look at him go.
Oh, okay, extended off the extension, extended hand plant. Oh, the edger. Oh, my... Unbelievable. If he would have made that, that would have been the top trick.
Yep.
Coming off on that edger
15 seconds.
into the canyon, trying to hold on. Neil has great agility for such a big guy.
Too bad he didn't hold that, Don.
Oh, really?
I think he would have captured the top spot.
Okay, goes up that tail tap from the shallow end into the deeper end. Okay, flip plant, front side flip plant again.
Time for Neil Blender.
It's time for Neil and tail slide. Okay, still a strong run. I don't think it'll affect him too badly.
Towards the end of the 80s, the street skating that Neil helped invent started slowing way down and getting highly technical, starting to look more and more like the freestyle skating that just years earlier was a mere sideshow to the vert skating that the magazines and industry was based on, in which Neil was elite. He continued to push skateboarding in his own direction, linking together unique moves at high speed in a way that only he could. Throughout these eras, Neil's artwork continually evolved as well. Having always been an exceptional photographer and artist since childhood, it was only natural that he would create the skateboarder as artist aesthetic by doing the first self-created graphic in 1982. Neil explains.
Kathy he goes, after a bunch of contests, he's like, okay, I'm gonna turn you pro. You and Billy Rapp are going pro. I don't know what year it was, 81 maybe. And he goes, but you need a graphic, and you draw, so do your own graphic. No one's doing that right now. None of the pros do their own graphics. I'm like, all right, I'll try. That's when I came up with that weird little, looks like Venetian blinds kind of stacked up and these little dudes falling. Mine was drawn with a Bic pen, so the lines they didn't blow it up any. They just handed it in. I thought they were going to blow it up to fit the board, but I didn't know anything about blowing shit up either, so it was like, well, here they are. It's like this tiny little graphic on this 31.5-inch board. It was pretty funny. I think they made like 200 of those boards.
Unique character-based themes and color palettes, and adding different levels of dimension and mystique to inanimate objects. Neil still skates and has come full circle to writing and manufacturing the boards he started on in the 70s. It is hard to imagine anything more pure and respectful to our sport, art, and discipline than celebrating the act by stripping it down to its purest roots and foundation.